brand new banger.
Knucklehead Comics Tuesday is fucking Tuesday. We got Lay in the building. We got Cap in the building. Cabs can't make it tonight, but he's here in spirit. On Lay.
My man, just chilling, brother, chilling.
What's up, Cap? How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Is that and the father goes shamefully? That's my son. And the other guy goes shamefully. Orion goes, that's my father. Choose fear and hate to run your life. Something you can't do. That was wrong with me from the beginning. I was doing it that way. I was gonna go down that path. I worried.
You thought it was Grayson?
Sorry, got hurt. Not him. Not him.
Crack his brain for somebody, anybody that can help, and remembers. Freeze.
The media.
No,
Randall
Savage.
Randall Savage. With his knowledge and all other shit, and his capacity to learn.
Absolutely.
This is the only vegan I'll ever eat is grilled chicken wings, because that's like vegan to me. You know what I'm saying? Because the chicken wings are supposed to be fried, but you grill the chicken wings, you put it in some sauce, and give it some blue cheese.
Is vegan.
That's vegan. Like regular moo cow fuck milk, put it in some Honey Nut Cheerios, vegan, because Honey Nut Cheerios is good for your heart. You know what I'm saying? Can I steal the question from Cabs?
I got it right. Look at this.
I would also like to steal. I would also like to steal. I would also like to steal.
You're too late.
Wow.
I stay loose, I stay hype, I stay loose, I stay hype, I stay loose, I stay hype. I could do this all night, cause I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro. Let's go, let's go! Yeah! Let's go! Here I go, I get lit, I get hyped for this shit! Right.
Word. He be like, I got a left elbow and a right elbow. I can break your face with an any elbow. Make sure that you get elbowed in your elbow with an elbow. Got the arm ball, get the phone ball, get around with the bomb ball.
Daddy's gonna take you to Jersey Shore.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday night. You know what that is, Knucklehead Comics. We are in the building. It's your boy Toe Tags with Cap. What's going on, Cap?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Chilling, man. We just came back from watching The Crow over the weekend, and we decided that shit was so bad we're going to have to do a review on it. But not only do I want to review The Crow, but I want to get into the actual story from the first movie, the comic book, and how you compare this one to the fourth one, and you found the similarity by mistake because you was just trying to look up what that shit was in the fourth one. Also, we can talk about some news that's happening. I know there's a lot of news with Sony and Spider-Man 4.
That you're gonna have to bring up. Okay. My news was looking in a different direction.
Okay, so apparently there's a lot of talks that Sony is fucking up the plans for Spider-Man 4, and they are trying to force it to be another multiversal-based movie where they will have Tom Holland, Garfield, and the other one, and Tobey Maguire come back and help out Spider-Man and all the other shit. And I think it's supposed to be inside of Secret Wars. What's that planet that they go into for Secret Wars? Battleworld. I think they said that they wanted to take place inside Battleworld so it makes sense or whatever. But you know, a lot of the problem with Spider-Man being in the MCU is that all of the bad guys have movies in Sony and MCU can't use them.
Yeah. I think at this point they are specifically making villain movies and character movies just so that Marvel can't use them. Because there's that stupid fucking clause they put in that all you have to do is mention you're gonna make a movie with a character, and the rights stay with Sony or at the time Fox and Universal.
Yeah, that's stupid. Because now what do you do? Because they said villain, right? And technically, in the movie, Venom is not a villain; he's an anti-hero. But then it's like, okay, you have Miles Morales. How many villains is the Kingpin gonna be for people? Because he's one that was in the comic, that was in the cartoon as a Spider-Man villain, but he's more of a Daredevil villain, and he's New York based. But
Yo,
unless we're gonna sneak it, we got the Vulture, but unless we're gonna sneak in the fucking damn, what was it? The Stone guy,
Greg Gargoyle.
not the Gargoyle, Tombstone. Unless
Yo.
we're gonna sneak his ass in there.
First off, Tombstone was exactly who I was gonna bring up. That would be fucking dope. As we get to Born Again, where the Kingpin's running for mayor, somebody else has got to fill that void.
Yeah.
Tombstone's perfect, and while Daredevil's got his hands full with him and Muse, we got Spider-Man with Tombstone. But Grey Gargoyle, that would be fucking amazing for me. That's one of my favorite fucking weird obscure villains.
You know, speaking of Gargoyle, so there's no Morbius, and you know, I'm equating Gargoyle to Morbius because Morbius is a vampire, and that was how we got introduced to Blade in the cartoon. And is that how we got introduced to Blade in the comic book too?
No,
For
Blade had
Spider-Man?
he had his own thing.
Yeah, so it's very hard to introduce Blade through Spider-Man because Morbius isn't there. I'm talking to my coworker. I said, you know, if I was Marvel, I would be on some, let's fuck with everybody. Let's do the thing where Mahershala Ali isn't happy with the script and he said, write a new one, and we fire this director, we fire that director. But this movie's has already been made, and he's already did a couple of cameos in movies that we haven't announced yet. So that way, when we sit there and go, the Blade movie's been scrapped, he's in Secret Wars and Blade comes out like 4 months after that, like, told you motherfuckers. So that way it doesn't ruin any more shit that might have happened in the outcome of this case. Because if we know anything, it's when we start looking into other projects, it ruins shit for a lot of things. It was Mephisto this whole time.
Yeah, dude. That's truly pie in the sky. Like, I don't think Disney and Marvel, no matter what point, phase 1, phase now, whatever, they don't have the balls to do that.
Word. But at this point, I would do it. But the going back to the Spider-Man shit, it sucks because Spider-Man is a very strong character for the MCU, for Marvel, period.
He's their number one hero in comic sales. So
You know what's crazy? If you look at it, because we started watching the timeline for the MCU, and we're right now in Civil War. We're halfway through Civil War, right when Bucky got in that trance, when we see Baron Zemo for the first time, and I'm like, wait a minute, Captain America's doing a lot of shit that Spider-Man did, where it's I got to do what's right for me. I can't sit here and worry about y'all motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta save MJ. I can't worry about S.H.I.E.L.D. capturing me right now, or just because Captain America's telling me to talk to him, I have to keep going. So I'm gonna fight. So he did that for Bucky. But now you have Spider-Man in here, and he's not as respected in the public eye as Cap is. So you can have Spider-Man, the villain in some of these movies, just to hold the point down. Because he could be one of those people that, just like in Far From Home, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, everybody's going after Peter Parker to kill him because of the spell and shit, but everyone hates Peter Parker because he killed Mysterio, who was supposed to be this hero.
Hey, that would make a great case for bringing John Bernthal's Punisher. First appearance of the Punisher, he went after Spider-Man under
Yeah.
a contract.
And since everyone's memory got lost about Spider-Man, about Peter Parker being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So now, and there's no MJ now. So he's literally by himself. He's literally figuring this shit out by himself. So I think that would be a dope concept to go through because he doesn't even have to be chased by Captain America or something like you said, the Punisher, Daredevil, even like fucking Blade, something.
Yeah, they're introducing White Tiger in Daredevil Born Again, and we know it's a successional title. Like it's a mantle that gets passed down. By the time Born Again ends, we can have it passed down to Ava, his daughter, and she's the one going after him. That way we get more use out of that character.
Yeah. Shit, because, you can't really do it with Deadpool. Because I think Deadpool is one of those palate cleansing movies. I think Deadpool is one of those, oh no, everything Deadpool does is going to be Elseworld. It's going to be MCU. He's going to make fun of the MCU, but what he does is separate. What he does is separate. But so get this. So Old Man Logan, right? I was watching a story of how Wolverine killed the Hulk's family. And in the movie, Deadpool, he's sitting on the porch and he shoots Deadpool. Right? So now in this iteration of the comic, Old Man Logan has 2 kids and a wife, and they don't know that he's Wolverine. He only is called Logan. He hasn't pulled his claws out in 50 years. Because what happened was Mysterio and all the bad guys organized and basically wiped out the heroes. There's no more heroes left. So Mysterio made him attack all the bad guys that swarmed the mansion. But all the bad guys that swarmed the mansion were really his family and the rest of the mutants. He was like, Mysterio changed the way they looked, changed the way they felt, changed the way they smelt. Everything about them was changed, and I swear to God, I was killing the people who infiltrated the mansion, and he wound up killing all the X-Men and everything. And he said from that point on, he never was gonna hurt another soul. So the Hulk was actually like running the town, and he was looking for rent, and his son. Now in this place, I think he's turning people into the Hulk. So there's two Hulks, 2 sons and a daughter, and like, we want the rent. He goes, I know you don't have the rent, so either you get your punishment or we take it out on your kids. What's going on, Tyson? Right, so he goes.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. So he goes, give me the punishment then. So the bigger Hulk beats the ever living shit out of Wolverine, and he just takes it, and he's healing in the bed, and Hawkeye comes. And he's like, yo, Wolverine, what the hell? He's like, what's going on? He goes, my name ain't Wolverine, it's Logan. And he goes, and what's your blind ass doing here? Because they made him blind. He goes, I need help. It's just a delivery service. I need you to help me deliver something. He'll pay you $500. That's more than enough for the rent and whatever. So Wolverine's like, fuck it, we'll go do it. What's going on, show? So he goes, and they're there, and they go into Kingpin's territory, and the people are going, and they're stopping him for some shit, and Wolverine's like, yo, I'm not gonna fight you, and they're beating the shit out of Wolverine. Hawkeye is such a good shot, even as he's blind, he's hitting people in the fucking face with the arrow, and he starts killing people to save Wolverine. So they get out of there, and Black Bolt happen. Well, they start running from a T-Rex that's engulfed in the Venom symbiote. is chasing them. Black Bolt is like teleports in front of them, and he goes, "Stop," and just wipes out the T-Rex and the symbiote all in one shit. It flips over the truck. They get teleported after that happens, and Emma Frost, she turns diamond.
Yeah, I'm Frost.
Emma Frost, who's the right hand woman of Doom, goes, "Listen, we didn't mean to damage your truck or whatever. We're gonna fix your truck and we'll let you on your way, because we know, like, Doom's like, you're no concern to us. Yeah, you're no concern to us. We'll fix your truck and you go on your way. We're not trying to inconvenience ourselves on you." So they go and they drop off this thing that they was gonna go and drop off the stuff to an old man, and it's 100 vials of the Secret Soldier Serum. Somebody pulls out a gun. They start lighting up Wolverine and Hawkeye, and the president in this time is the Red Skull. And Shield agents are like, "You thought we didn't know what you was doing, Hawkeye," and blah 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 blah, and this and the third. And Wolverine was like, "Fuck this." He gets the thing of money. He starts fucking beating the shit out of everybody that's there, and he gets away in an Iron Man suit, and he flies about halfway to his house, crashes, and he walks the rest of the 36 hours to his home. There's an old man standing in front of his home, and he goes, "Yo, you're a sight for sore eyes." And the old man's like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, the Hulks was looking for their money." He goes, "I had 2 weeks left to pay them. They got bored." He walked in the house, his kids and his wife murdered. Wolverine lets go of the claws, full of blood, and you see his skin flapping, because it's the first time in 50 years he let go of the claws. Like, he bring out the claws, and he goes, "Don't call me Logan, bub. I'm Wolverine." And he just goes to Hulk's thing and kills every single one of the Hulks, calls out Banner. Banner, as a human, comes out and punches him about 100 feet away. And for some reason, he has the strength of the Hulk as a human. And he starts fighting him, and the Hulk and Wolverine starts cutting him up. He turns into the Hulk and eats Wolverine. And his other son is like, "What's going on, Paul?" with his little baby. And he's like, "I'm not feeling too well." He's sweating all that. Wolverine claws out from the outside, killing the Hulk. And he's like, "Don't kill me, Wolverine. I had nothing to do with this." He kills that one and takes the baby Hulk, and he's raising the baby Hulk as his son. He's like, "Well, there's no reason for me to stay here except for memories, and I can take them wherever I need to go." And he killed all the Hulk's family because they did that shit to him.
Yo, dude, it's funny when you mentioned that Mysterio changed the way everybody felt and made him kill all the X-Men.
Yeah.
You know where they got that from?
The Scarlet Witch?
No.
Oh.
Greek mythology. Hera fucked with Hercules' mind, made him think somebody else was in the house,
And
he
killed his
wound up
wife.
killing his family.
Oh, shit, yeah. Shit. That's crazy how they always go down to the mythology.
Every story has already been told.
Yeah.
It's just if you could find a fresh take on it, or if you just find a story that, if you can find what I'm going to start calling an Uncle Pete story. So for everybody playing the home game, as I like to say, our Uncle Pete would tell the same stories over and over again. But the way he told them, you just listen to it. And when certain ones come up in your head, you'd be like, all right, I like this story. All right, tell this one again.
Yeah. Shit, I think we should do that as a segment every week. We just find a fascinating comic book story that people may not know, and we just tell it on here just to have like a fun fact.
All right.
What do you think, Show?
And then he's going to dip.
Yeah. I wasn't here to answer questions.
I was here so I don't get fined.
Word.
So the little bit of news that I got while we're waiting for show to show,
Yeah, to unmute him. Like he's here, but I guess he got to unmute himself or something.
uh, Disney finally came out and said why they canceled the Acolyte season 2. And
Okay.
they cleared out, canceled it.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they heard us, they knew it wasn't good, and they really want to make a concerted effort to change. And I'm lying. The reason they canceled it, the reason they canceled it is because the viewership dropped. It was the lowest viewed finale of all time, and they said we're not gonna waste any more money on shit that's not gonna work. It had nothing to do with it had nothing to do with the apparent misogynistic, fucking racist, homophobic people like us that can't stand women of color and anything. Even though, again, Finnick Chen is one of the best fucking characters written, even in the bullshit show of Boba Fett. She's still one of the standout fucking characters. So much that they put her in fucking Bad Batch. Even forgetting the fact that we like Jen Erso in Rogue One. Forgetting the fact that we love Ahsoka and to a certain extent Sabine and the fucking Bo-Katan and even what's her name, Gina Carino's character before she get kicked off the show. Forgetting all of that shit.
Which
The
apparently
real reason is it didn't make the money, and they said, well, we're not gonna fucking continue.
word.
Because at the end of the day, money talks, bullshit walks.
That's right. And I heard that initially they wanted Keanu Reeves to play that role.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves was smart enough to go, nah, dog, I'm good.
Yeah. But apparently Gina Carino got on that lawsuit for Disney. You know, I think there's something happened and she's I don't think she won it, but she's looking good in it.
Well, I think the last thing I heard is that the judge actually agreed to have it now go to trial.
Okay.
I think that's what the last thing I heard is, which means they're gonna have to bring out all their receipts, and we're gonna learn some shit if and when it actually goes down. Because you know the high power lawyers come out and go, hey, here's $50 million, shut the fuck up. People might shut the fuck up about it. Who knows?
Word. I mean, shit. But
one of the other things I was gonna say is I thought Ray was gonna be here. He's making me out to look like a liar because I said on the short that he was gonna give his thoughts. But there's a new anime coming out that's entitled "The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventurer," and it's not specifically the Power Rangers, but it is a Super Senpai Power Ranger type character who gets transported to another world, and he brought with him his fucking thing. So when shit goes down, he morphs into the Red Ranger. And now he's using his powers in the fucking other world. Which that shit looks dope. And I know if Ray was here, I think he'd appreciate that.
This one? The Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world?
So that's the manga.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a picture from the anime there. I don't know how much you can show or not show, and I don't want to get the shit taken down, but
Nah, yeah, I will have to watch the trailer by itself.
But it looks pretty dope.
Apparently, the Legend of the White Tiger you was able to watch on Roku, but you can't watch it anymore, and that was Jason.
Oh, JDF last movie.
Yeah, that was his movie as the White Lion. But yeah, we couldn't watch it. I didn't know it came out.
It'll find its way around somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the other things I wanted to discuss in comic book news, Bloodhaven has a new Nightwing.
Bloodhaven is a city in Gotham.
Bloodhaven is the neighboring city to Gotham, where
Okay.
Dick Grayson left to become a cop in a Nightwing.
So if Gotham was the Bronx, Bloodhaven would be Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Okay. Write that down, show.
actually, Gotham would be New York, would be Manhattan, and I think Bloodhaven would be, the way their crime is, it'd probably be the Bronx. But so Nightwing is still there. Nightwing 1 is what they call him. He's chasing his own thing and cleaning up the rest of the city. I'll give you 3 guesses. 3 guesses to guess who's Nightwing 2. And when I say that, in the Nightwing suit with the domino mask.
What, like the character that's playing Nightwing too?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a girl. I feel like it's Commissioner Gordon's daughter.
Nope, you got 2 more guesses.
Jason Todd,
Nope, one last guess.
the Joker.
Nope. Bruce Wayne.
How, Sway, is he gonna be Batman and Nightwing too? Is he trying to learn how to be?
No. It was the article about, as a preview article about the run that's coming out. And it doesn't give much detail, but for anybody who doesn't know, Bruce Wayne does not sleep. He runs on what's called micro naps,
Huh?
where
So do I.
he'll literally sleep like 20 minutes at a time, and that's it. That's why he's always running. So he could technically pull a quadruple shift and be Wayne, then be Batman, then be Wayne again, then be Nightwing 2. Then
That's crazy.
he's obsessed.
I guess so. Shit. But that's a little bit too. But I think people are really. You know, I figured it out. Where Marvel is a bunch of stories that prey on the heartstrings of its readers, and you live cathartically through the character that you associate with. I feel DC is the unlimited. Like, these characters are literally whatever we need them to be for the story we're telling. So
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is a normal human that can be at the top of his game within a 20-minute nap every 4 days, which is physically impossible. And also sometimes he has extra human strength, and his brain processes faster, and he knows everything that other people don't. And Superman, what do you need him to do? He can do it.
Except magic.
Yes, and he's not as strong as Darkseid, but he's stronger. Okay, Goku, sit your ass down. Like that's what I'm getting. Every DC character is whatever they need to be. They got it in their belt.
Yeah. That's because Marvel is characters that are real, that are born out of science for the most part, and trying to be realistic and humane. And DC is the bombastic, godlike figures that you worship as heroes.
Which is crazy because you hear the story. Oh no, if you shoot Captain America in the face, he's dead. But no one goes, if you shoot Batman in the face, he's dead. It's not a definitive answer because he might have a bulletproof face by the time someone gets around to shooting him.
Yeah.
It's impossible to shoot Batman because not even Deathstroke can shoot Batman. But Captain America, the actual enhanced human, yeah, he could die. Hi there, guys. Is this the Crow movie? No, we're not talking about the Crow movie at the moment, but we will be getting into this new Crow movie.
Yeah, you know how we do. We like to do our appetizers
Yeah.
before we get to the main course.
But why is that?
Why is what?
People can sit there and be like, "Oh no, Captain America gets shot in the face and die," but Batman, I don't
Because
think he can get shot in the face.
because again, Marvel is more realistic, more humanistic characters, and the DC universe is full of godlike parodies.
Shit. But
I mean, picture this: we have Reed Richards, smartest man in the world, right? When he goes crazy, he's the thinker. Doom can beat him. He can get taken out. He's not infallible, right?
yeah,
But you got Plastic Man in the DC universe. Plastic Man is played for a joke most of the time. But there's a comic where they don't take him as a joke, and shit happens to him, and Plastic Man is proven to be the strongest DC character. Period.
yeah. I saw that he smothered the Flash.
Yeah, from the inside. Like this motherfucker is 100% invincible.
Yeah, how did he beat Superman?
I forgot that whole run, but he went and
Shit.
whooped everybody's ass.
Yeah, I remember it was like this guy did this, he did that, he did that, he did this. Let me see if I could. I think we sent it in the group chat for the comics, but it's gotta be a.
Why are you looking that up? So Mr. Loki, yeah, they are gonna kill Darkseid, but I'll say this story again till everybody's blue in the face. I sat in the panel in New York City Comic Con where Joe Quesada said they're killing Wolverine, and this one's gonna stick. He's not just gonna come back in 2 weeks. Wolverine is going to die, and then 6 months later, Kitty Pryde took him out of the fucking encased animanium statue he was in, and the motherfucker regenerated, and now we got him and X-23 and another clone and another son and Dakin and James and John and Jimmy and Yuriko. Like, so yeah, they're gonna kill Darkseid until somebody turns around and goes, "Hey, you know what? We need a fucking villain here, Darkseid."
Yeah, pretty much. DC has unveiled new covers.
I no longer react to deaths. You know, there's been plenty of fucking deaths in comics within the last 2 or 3 years that I don't even fucking react anymore. That's the one thing about this. The two things I hate about comics. One, they never ever, and one is the fans' fault. They never ever allow room for fucking true growth and true progression. I.e., Sam is now Cap. Steve's got to either do something else or stop. But no, Steve is Captain America. Sam is Captain. Like, they never let anything progress. And that's mostly because of the fans. And nobody ever fucking died. The deaths mean nothing.
Yeah.
The deaths are... I don't know if anybody watched Whose Line Is It Anyway? That the comedies improv show from back in the day. The deaths are like, whose line is it anyway? The deaths are given out, but they don't matter.
Just they're like the points.
Don't matter.
Yeah. Shit, how far back? It must have been. I don't think it was something I put in the group chat. It must have been like a short or something.
Yeah, it was definitely a short on YouTube that I saw.
Oh, also, there's been James Gunn said that Lady Gaga's interpretation of Harley Quinn will not have the all right. So the director says Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn won't have her past iterations, signature accent, or other personality traits. So what I say to that is, this isn't Harley Quinn.
Can I retort
Yeah.
that this might be done 2 reasons. One, to differentiate herself from what Margot Robbie's doing, right? Because there is no literal point for Lady Gaga to just come out and do the exact same thing Margot Robbie did.
True.
Like, for that, you should have just got Margot Robbie, right? So that's probably the more practical, real reason. The other reason I would give is because we're watching the movie from the perspective of a false actor, right? An unreliable source. This is from the perspective of the Joker, of Arthur, whatever the fuck his name, Arthur Fleck. So what he's hearing and what he's seeing and what he wants to see and what he wants to hear is going to be presented differently. And that could be why she doesn't resemble the Harley Quinn we know. It's because Arthur Fleck doesn't know that person.
So you're saying that the Harley Quinn we're getting is the interpretation of Arthur Flick's imagination?
Yes. Even if she's real, we're seeing her through his lens. Just like if in real life, if one of your friends is dating somebody and you meet her and you're like, yo, there's something wrong with this girl. Your boy doesn't see it. He's like, nah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because he's not seeing the same shit we are. And I mean that would be the most logical story reason that I would put for that. But again, I think the realistic practical reason is it doesn't make sense to have 2 actresses do the exact same thing. Not used to being on the screen all by myself, just with without me going into a rant or anything. Here we go. Well, I don't know what the hell Toad's doing. 10 imaginary bucks to anybody who can figure out why I chose this name today.
But yeah, I still think it's gonna be a bad movie. I have a feeling that it's gonna be one of those movies that everyone's gonna love, and I'm just gonna be like, never saw it.
You know, what if we do this? What if we look at this not as a Joker movie, but as an examination of the cult of personality? This movie is just an examination of people's ability to latch on to just some misunderstood, mischaracterized charisma who people throw on their own insecurities and throw on their own the fuck's the word I'm looking for? Like their own hopes on, like, oh, I feel like I'm beaten down by the system. I'm beaten down by the system. This dude did something. Hey, I wish I could do what he did. He's and they build him up based off of their own
Stone Cold
shit.
Steve Austin.
Yeah. So less as a movie about the literal Joker, and more as just as a character study of a man who was driven to a point where he expressed himself with clown makeup, and the city either fell in love with him or didn't. That maybe through that lens, we could find enjoyment in the movie.
You see, as a movie named Joker, I liked it all the way into the part where he started talking to Bruce Wayne's father. When this became, oh no, Bruce Wayne and Batman exists in this realm. Okay, it broke the connection I had with the movie.
Oh, I mean,
Because
Bruce Wayne exists, but not Batman.
But you know what I'm saying? Like he's talking to Thomas Wayne like, oh, you're my father. And now it went, whoop, nope, can't do it. No, 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 no. Ain't doing this. No. Sorry.
Yeah, but
Unless,
luckily they were smart enough to tell us that was false and not true.
unless this is what they make this movie. Arthur Fleck is not the Joker. He is the man who inspired the Joker when the Batman came out.
I mean,
Because think about this.
They literally
He
call
said-
him the Joker, though.
No, but think about this. He says that Thomas Wayne is his father. Finds out his mother's a whatever, blah blah blah. And he does this shit, and he gets all this fucking courage to live his life the way he wants to, and he doesn't give a shit no more. You know, right at the end of the movie, who does he bump into? Thomas and Martha Wayne. Kapow, kapow. And then at the end of the movie, what was it? 20 years later, when he became old enough to be Batman. 20 years later, Bruce Wayne, the man that killed his family, passed away in jail. And now there's another guy assuming the role of the Joker, where it's that guy has a theory Batman is Bruce Wayne, and he's trying to fuck with Bruce Wayne by taking the mantle of the guy who killed his family.
Yeah. There's two things. One, did the Waynes die at the end of the original Joker movie? Or am I just misremembering that because they die every time? Because I want to go back.
I don't know.
I think they fucking.
I don't know. You know why? Because I'm watching this movie, like I'm replaying it, and the riot happened, and I don't know if I'm melding in the Suicide Squad Batman with this shit.
Yeah. Because here's the second thing I want to say. I think another interesting story would be if now, and this is predicated on the fact that they did die at the end of Joker 1, that this Joker is the reason for the deaths of Martha and Thomas Wayne, and he is obsessed with Bruce because he still believes that they're brothers. He still believes that they're family. And Bruce grows up to make it his life's mission to beat the ever-living shit out of a 50-something-year-old mentally challenged man. And that could be the Joker 3 colostomy bag or whatever the fuck they want to call it.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. And that could be, what's his name? Robert Pattinson's Batman.
There you go. And we can finally get a good Bane. You know, one that's from South Africa. He's about 5'3".
Yeah. If you want to Friday night at that wrestling show, we saw a good Bane.
Yeah, we did. It was a Megan Bane, but
Ra's al Ghul's child escaped the fucking cage. Yes, I never said I was the child. Yeah, that's got to be the first time in history where a twist came and you could see everybody who didn't know went, oh, it wasn't him. And everybody who did know went, no shit, he only has fucking daughters.
yeah. We can always go back to how they fucked up the actual origin of these characters to make it work for the big screen. And it didn't work.
Yeah.
So, yo, a pop quiz, hot shot.
Okay.
How many times did they use the word family in Fast and the Furious X?
Oh, let's see. I only saw the movie once, so let me see. I'm gonna go with, and I'm gonna go realistic. I'm not gonna do a bit here. I'm gonna say realistically, they use the word family 419,227 times.
You're close. Now, guess again. Keeping it in the double digits.
Only double digits?
Yeah.
13,
No. Higher than that.
15.
Close. 56 times.
That's bullshit. I call cap on that.
Hey, if it's an Instagram post, it's real.
Nah, they must be talking about that one specific scene.
Well, the mother said it's 56 times.
You don't remember that? It's like,
You-
I'm
you-
glad to see the family back with family. We sit and ate family dinner at the family barbecue.
You know what I love? Fast and the Furious 1. It was assumed, because I can't remember if they said this or not. It was only Dominic Toretto and his sister. Fast and the Furious 9. You meet his brother and his father. Fast 10, his mom comes out of nowhere. We had 20 years of Fast and the Furious, and we just met Dominic Toretto's family. That was a bad relationship we was in.
No,
We were in a bad. We were side niggas to Dominic Toretto.
no. That's the formula nowadays. It took us, what? Far From Home, No Way Home, Return to Home, fucking Civil
Don't forget
War.
to lock the door.
Yeah, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. It took us 6 movies to tell the origin of Spider-Man. Took us 10 movies to get there. Like, that's the norm now. The reason why
Jesus.
we didn't get a Shang-Chi 2 is because they forgot that they got to tell his origin over a span of movies, and they just did it in one shot.
Oh, did you hear the story between the guy who plays Shang-Chi and Henry Cavill?
No.
Let me see if I could find it before I.
What, they got beef now?
No. It's one of those things where I think right after Shang-Chi, he bumped into Henry Cavill and he goes, "Oh shit, Henry Cavill, I'm a huge fan of you." And Henry Cavill turned and was like, "Oh, Shang-Chi, I'm a huge fan of you too." He goes, "You know me?" And Henry Cavill, oh, here he goes. And she's, oh wait, nope, this is all right. So Sammy Yu shares that he's been reading the recent Shang-Chi comic run and teases that those stories could be used in an influence to be for the upcoming unannounced sequel. All right, so here you go. He shares that he ran into Henry Cavill after the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl this year. When Lou went up to Cavill, he recognized him right away and gave him a bear hug. Cavill secretly paid for Lou's meal with his friends. So it's like Henry Cavill is our Doom.
Yo,
He should be our Doom Marine.
Yo, I mean, the man who played Wolverine, the only other man to play Wolverine, is one of the greatest people on the planet. It's too bad he's only ever played Wolverine and no other superhero.
Yeah. Now, going into Doctor Doom. I can't see a version of Robert Downey Jr. I didn't want to say Tony Stark. A version of Robert Downey Jr. of him acting in a "this is what I said" and there's no questions. Because as Iron Man, especially in Civil War, you see a lot of the shit he does is pleading Captain America to be on his side. And Captain America's like, I will be on your side, but there has to be some limit to your power also.
Yeah.
That's what, watching it again for like the 5th time, you see the whole thing. It's like, yes, I would admit the way we do things may not be the best way, but you cannot have complete control over us because we are a weapon. The Avengers are no different than a fucking nuclear bomb. The president now, what's in Harrison Ford playing him now? Thunderbolt Ross said it himself in the meeting when he said, if I lost 30 tons of nuclear power of nuclear missiles, I would be court-martialed and be in jail. How the fuck do you lose the Hulk and Thor? So that opens up. I think that's what opened up the eyes of Cap. Like, wait a minute, we're not weapons. 30 megatons of nuclear missiles is a totally different thing than the Hulk.
Yeah.
Because the Hulk has Bruce Banner. And then that scene where it's like, oh, Wanda's staying at the 100-acre mansion that she's in. She's confined to it because they don't just give fucking green cards to weapons. He goes, she's a child. He's like, I'm doing the best I can. And Cap's like, yo, as much as she has power, she's still a child. We have to see her as a child. We cannot see her as a fucking weapon and a walking threat. And Tony was awesome. I know, but that's how they see her. I'm trying to protect her.
Yeah, Tony did the no.
and it's just, you see this, and it's the unwavering of what's right, and that was literally Peggy Carter's granddaughter,
Sharon Carter. Yep, or niece, grandniece.
That was the speech that she gave at the funeral. Compromise when you can, and stand strong when you can't. Tony's compromising when he can with Wanda. But Cap is standing strong on some, I'm not giving you full control over me.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. He didn't want... See, that's what certain people miss. He didn't want no regulation. He didn't want, like, if something happens in Belarus, but it doesn't behoove the U.S. government to do anything about it, well, we're just not going to send the Avengers. And now the Belarusian people fucking suffer for something that they could have prevented. They could have saved. They could have stopped.
Sokovia would have died.
Sokovia, yeah.
Yeah. Sokovia. Oh, and also, well, you know, it's funny. I don't think they made this connection, but in Endgame, where they asked Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel, no, we could really use your help here. And she goes, there's other galaxies that don't have the Avengers in them. That's another thing Cap is saying. Like you said, not every country has the Avengers.
Yeah.
Not every country has the means to protect themselves. And I'm not going to let somebody go and protect. He don't like bullies.
Speaking of not liking bullies and getting back to basics, something I was supposed to bring up a while ago. James Gunn finished shooting Superman and said there will be no reshoots.
And then went straight
to... Say again?
Oh, and went straight to reshooting.
No.
Oh, all right.
Said principal photography is over with. Now he's just got to be in the editing room making the film. Okay. Which I think is twofold. One, it's a very bold move. Two, that shows he has confidence in what he's putting out. And anytime a director and a writer and a team is confident in what they put out, and is passionate about what they put out and is allowed to put that movie out untouched by the studios, it is a guaranteed success. Latest example, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Made confidently by the people who were in it, made with love, and the studio didn't fuck with it.
Word. And also, yo, the fucking what is that called? The screen where people watch it before the
Test
pre-screening,
screening?
the test screening. They fucked up Catwoman, a Batgirl. That
Yeah.
shit got completely demolished. And what's his name? He played Batman,
Which one?
the one that came back from the original Batman.
Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton. You know what he said about that? Because I don't give a shit. I got a good paycheck off of that. He literally was like, "No, they canceled Batgirl. Who cares? I got paid well for it."
You know what that tells me?
That the movie sucked.
Yeah. That it was an actual bad movie.
Yeah. Now, you remember in Age of Ultron where Wanda went into Tony's mind and he sees everybody dead on the media, right?
Yeah.
Who is this girl? Because she was in the scene. And when we watched it, I paused it. I said, "Who is this?" And we couldn't tell. The only thing I can think of, maybe this is Stark's daughter from when he saw the vision when he snapped. Remember, because he was supposed to talk to the his older version of his daughter.
Yeah.
And like in the beginning of Endgame, he's talking to Pepper. He's like, "Yo, I had a dream that we had a daughter. Her name was blah 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 blah." That could be the side effects from Wanda fucking with his brain. But no one can tell. It's been 10 years and no one knows who this woman is.
I didn't even notice that woman.
She was laying right next to Cap's shield.
That could just been I guarantee it's gonna wind up being just a shield agent who was there in the final battle. Or who was there in a battle standing with Cap.
Somebody said I think it's just a random shield agent, but
Yeah, like or a stand-in for like Maria Hill, but they couldn't get Kobe Smulders to just lay down for a second. So
right?
they just threw in a stand-in.
Because it does look like there's stars here, so this does look like there's a military. So wouldn't that be a shield or sword agent?
Who knows? Like I've never noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that until we saw it 2 days ago.
Shit.
I think they're still fucking with us.
Yeah, just wait until that character shows up, played by a different actress, and they'll be like, "Yo, where's her origin?" Like, "Yo, you guys remember when Tony had that vision? The bitch who was laying next to Cat, that's her. That was her."
Right? That's Gamora. They just didn't fucking. They just didn't CGI it.
That's the stand-in for Rocket Raccoon, but they just forgot to superimpose him in.
Yeah, right.
All right. Should we get down to it?
Yeah.
Who's gonna do the call?
I'm just trying to make sure that's everything before we get to the.
Main event of the evening. The review of the 2024 Crow. And the backstory of the origin movie of the Crow with Brandon Lee. And some information from the comics. Now, Hassan and Tyson, you can ask us about this fucking movie. Now it's time for the main event.
Motherfuckers.
I gotta get a soundboard, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. But yeah, let's start with our review of the movie.
Okay. You want to start or?
Yeah, you know.
I'm gonna start by this. This is the first time ever we had left the movie theater and Toe apologized for if his snoring ruined the experience of the movie. Because there was 3 to 4 times I had to wake him because his snoring was louder than the sound system. And when I said in the little short that he was falling awake, there's a scene where one of the characters shows up as a different character, or not as a different character, just shows up as another character. And Toe literally went, "Yo, that's the dude from The Thing." And I went, "I know." And in the middle of me saying I know, Toe went he had just finished his sentence and went right back to sleep. Yeah, so he wasn't falling asleep during that movie. He was falling awake at certain points in the movie.
When we first spoke about this movie, and we spoke about Brandon Lee and his charisma and the relationship he had with his fiance/wife, because it happened on the wedding day, right? Or
Not
their
wedding day.
honeymoon.
It was just a random day.
It was Halloween.
Yeah, it was Halloween, but for them it wasn't
yeah.
like
They were married already.
Yeah, at most it might have been
Their
an
anniversary.
anniversary.
But we spoke about that. I remember I mentioned it and we spoke about it, and that was what made the movie. That was the basis of the movie.
And it's done in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. And what they did to his wife wasn't shown completely. You know, they showed that they did something, but it was narrated to be horrible. And we understood how horrible that was. So vengeance is justified. In this movie, we get a girl getting a phone call from another girl who says, "I showed them the tape and I sent it to you." And this girl runs into the cops, drops her drugs, and instantly gets thrown in jail. And all I can think of, it sounds like the stories that people tell me in Jamaica. It's like, "Oh no, you instantly go to jail. We don't see a judge. We don't see nothing. We just, now you're in jail 5 years." It's like Judge Dredd found her, threw her in jail, and she said, "I like this place. I'm not leaving. Here goes my boyfriend. Here goes my boyfriend." And my man did not speak at all. So I was thinking he's a mute. Nope.
Guess
he just doesn't like talking.
Yo, before you keep going, how crazy is it that your plan when you're being chased by somebody is to run up to the cops and go arrest me and not this guy's fucking following me?
Yeah. So then they connect eyes. They have a conversation. He speaks to her. First time we hear his voice. And then they're in love. The bad guy finds her because the bad guy's a demon. And he can whisper in your ear and make you do shit because the soul of the innocent feeds the devil, and that's what keeps him alive. And he may mention, he's like, the souls of the rapists and all other people aren't good enough.
Yeah, when I get to my summation, I'm going to talk about that.
Please do, because that was not even, I was like, oh my God, really? Shit. He couldn't just be a fucking bad guy. He couldn't just be a fucking bad guy. He has to be a demon. So then they find out where this bitch lives. in the rehab center, and
Keep going. bro.
the crow takes her. My bad. He takes her and goes, "We can leave through this window." Whoever built the fucking Star Destroyer made a window that people can just escape from, and they can leave. So they they escaped through the window, which just so happened to be even with the floor, and they ran out of the rehabilitation center. And once you pass a certain point of the rehabilitation center, they stop looking for you. It's like in a video game. I mean, you get too far away from the bad guy, he doesn't follow you, and he goes back to his original checkpoint. So they go to her friend's house. Then they go to his house. Then they go to her house, and then they start clubbing and living a normal life and all this other shit. And her friend that's hiding because he had to take runs into her and tells her to leave because they're looking for her. And they bum rush him at his house. They find where he lives, and they capture him and the girl where he lives. And by him, I'm talking about the Crow. I'm not gonna call him by Brandon Lee's name. And I'm sitting there like, how do they know about him? How do they know about the Crow when they're looking for the girl? They never said anything about him. They were looking for her. So they go to his house and they suffocate her. They suffocate him. They wake up in the water. She's sinking. He's trying to save her. He can't save her, so he goes up to the top. And now he's in the train station, and he speaks to the guy, and he's like, "Yo, you can set shit right when something goes horribly wrong." And I'm going, wait a minute. That is the thing that was so horrible? Like, you're telling me that this guy whispered in your ear, made you kill yourself, made you kill other people, made you do whatever the hell he wanted. And the fact that he had her choked out was the straw that broke the camel's back for Angel or whatever the fuck he is to go, you need to go kill him now. What? This is when I started falling asleep because I turned around the cap. I said, you already got like 2 ways that this movie could be better. You know, and the first way was just, if you remade the first movie and you kept it the same story, this would have been way fucking better. But yeah, and then he goes back. And he goes back the first time. And he kills the guy that's back in his house looking for some shit.
The cop.
And he went back twice, right?
He came back twice.
All right, so yeah, so then he's going around and he's trying to find out the people who killed this girl. His boy said, "Oh, she was a drug dealer," and instantly he's like, "Well, if she was a drug dealer, she deserved to die. I can't be with her." And then he gets shot, and he goes back to the thing, and he's like, "I told you, if your love was strong enough, you can, you get the power of the crow or whatever the fuck." And I'm sitting here going, when the fuck did you explain his powers?
Yeah.
He just came back to life. To me, he's a human. I came back to life. I thought I was a human too. You never told me I'm getting powers. You just brought me back.
And on top of that, that's what you got from sleeping halfway through. That's not actually what was said, but
Shit. It's like shit. And then he goes, "Well, fuck it. I'll prove to you I love her. I'll give up my soul." And my man did the what? My soul for her soul. And I swear to God, I wanted him to go, that don't mean that you really love her. You just, that kind of just means you want revenge for the motherfucker who killed you. But you know what? We'll take it. Because we need someone to magically stop this demon from killing everyone all of a sudden. So now he comes back buffed up. He knows his powers now. He gave him extra powers. He painted his face. He painted his face, and he finds the woman that was nowhere near them when they died. It didn't give the order to kill him, but what works with the demon and kills her. And then goes finds the demon, and I fell asleep, but I think the demon whispered in his ear, and he said, "I'm already fucked up," and then just fucking drowned him, and then the demon died, and now the woman's back to life, and he's dead. And I'm sitting here going, "Listen, I already said 2 ways. I woke up to Cap looking at the movie, and I said, there's 2 ways I can make this shit better. And the first way was just remake the first fucking movie. If you would have remade the first movie with the same premise and the same shit, just updated, it would have been a way better movie. And 2, if this would have been, I'm going to give you the same offer I gave everyone else. Become my crow, or become my disciple of vengeance, and go kill this motherfucker, and we'll give you the girl's soul back, or you could be forever entwined with her soul, and you just be the crow. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was, they just changed it up where it's like, we need somebody to fight this nigga, and no one else was like, yeah, everybody was like, fuck that, I ain't doing it. Just let me go chill upstairs with the homie. Because literally, you cannot tell me that the crow brings somebody back to life because of some horrible shit that happened to him. And it would just so happen to be, people get stabbed every day, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of more horrible shit. There are kids who crossing the street getting shot by straight bullets. That's more horrible than the way this woman died. Like, they literally, what was it, 36 hours? They tortured his wife for like 30. They tortured his wife, and then she survived 36 hours in the hospital and died or some shit like that.
I actually think it was longer than that. It was like, in total, 72 hours. The whole fucking
like,
a long time.
And he held, and that's the line. 72 hours of pain. I don't need it anymore. You can have it all, and he fucking forces it into the dude's brain, and it kills him because of that. Like, that is poetic justice. You literally just made 2 people look at each other and go, I love you too. And now, well, she's a whore. I don't think I love her anymore. Give me back the powers. I'll trade you my life. You're dead already. Fuck it. Here, take more power and go do the thing. That's my review of it. I think it fucking sucked. I think they would have been better off ixnaying it. This shit should have been a fucking thought. And the name of the movie should have been The Crow, You Thought. And then and it should have just started with, we had plans for a good movie, but we couldn't do it. And then that's it. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, the movie would have ended. You would have got your $10 from us, and we would have been better off. But go ahead, Cap. Let's hear the actual person who watched the entire movie, who was tortured for 36 hours and then needs to give up that pain.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give my review based on the fact that this is not a remake, this is a reimagining. So within the context of the reimagining, not tied to any other Crow movie. And in the context of reimagining and looking at it at its own premise, the movie fails. Again, so he pretty much gave you the entire rundown of the movie. But the whole premise fails. We start with Eric Draven seeing a horse, one of his horses ran through the barbed wire and was dying. And he literally says that when you lose somebody you love, you never forget and you never forgive. That's the whole start. And I guess his mom was drugged out or something in the trailer. So when we catch up with him as an adult, he's a fucking recovering drug addict who has scars across his arm because he tried to take his life. He has a tattoo across of it. And for some reason, he's getting bullied. Not just by the other fucking people in the rehab center, but the guards as well. That's never explained. He's just getting bitched out all the time. Then we move to the girl who, before the videotape is mentioned, she's living her life. She knows somebody who she could just walk into his fucking penthouse whenever the fuck she wants. She's doing drugs, she's drinking, she's partying with this one. She's doing whatever the fuck she wants. Then the tape comes out. The friend's like, oh, the tape came out. Or I showed the tape to somebody. And now she's freaking out. So when she goes into the, into the rehab center, she finds Eric. For some reason, they connect. It's not explicitly stated, except for one scene where he's like, this is the dumbness of the movie not working in its own fucking world. They sitting in a bathtub and Eric's like, she's like, what drew you to me? And Eric was like, you have an aura about you. Powerful. Romantic shit. He's like, what drew you to me? She said, you're spectacularly broken. You're drawn to somebody who's spectacularly broken. So you want somebody who's not stable, who's unfixable, who has way more problems than you can handle, and who showed none of that. Not one fucking stitch of that film showed him as somebody who's broken to the point where it's spectacular, or it's even worse than her or anybody else. And he was just a bitch, and she fell for him. And how did they get out of the rehab? This motherfucker has known for who knows how long exactly how to escape. But he just chose to sit in there and fucking get the shit kicked out of him. Because apparently that's better than living your life, getting past the fucking trauma of seeing your horse die. And trust me, I've had 2 pets die. I know how heavy that is. But again, 3 things this movie did that I fucking hate. 1, you don't get over the fucking trauma. You don't get past it. 2, let's bring this bitch back to life. Let's bring this bitch back to life. Fucking A. And I forgot what the fuck the third one was, because I originally had the one. Oh, the fact that he was a drug addict.
Yeah.
That was the thing I didn't want. Because it sets up an interesting thing where Toe was saying the bad guy, who his name is Vincent, and I forgot his last. Rook is his name. The bad guy was saying, that, like he said, dark souls are already going to hell, so he doesn't need that. He's going to send innocent souls to hell. That way, he can stay living. Right? They'll take his place. But then we only ever see him kill the friend who was also partaking in the partying and the drugs and didn't say shit until she got the video. And we'll get to what's on the video. So why would the devil want that soul? Like then, okay, so Shelley is going down to hell, but he didn't do the thing because he has to cut himself and take some of their blood and switch some of his blood out in order to have longevity. But he didn't do that with Shelley. They just killed her and she died. So does that not count towards him? Did he not get that years or whatever? It's never explained.
Yeah.
So what was I saying before that? So he knows how to escape. They escape. Then they go on this
It was
love
the
affair
hole in the
that,
starship.
huh?
That window was the hole in the Death Destroyer, the Star
Yeah.
Destroyer.
They escape. Which, by the way, they have fucking ankle bracelets that you can cut with just a razor blade. Where I tell you right now, I worked in a nursing home, and we had bracelets for residents that were potential
Flight
elopers.
risk.
Yeah, they were potential elopers. Do you know how hard those shits are to cut?
I would imagine it's Teflon.
Yeah, like they're not easy to cut. Like one slice of a razor blade is not gonna fucking do it. But anyway, they escape. They go on a love affair that it is not expressed how much time they spend together. Because realistically, it has to be only 2 weeks. At most, 2 months. Because anything further than that, you have the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet looking for this bitch.
Yeah.
Because how'd you take that long? They went to a friend's house, which they already know. They went back to her place, which they already know. They went back to Eric's place, which they could find out easily.
That friend's house was the one that was also hiding from them. The guy
Yeah.
that met him in the club,
No,
that
no.
was his house.
No, that was a different dude. It was confirmed that dude was, who knows who the fuck he was. He was somebody else that she may or may not have been banging on the side or doing some other shit with. We don't know. But she just had unfeathered access to a rich man's house, taking his clothes, taking some other shit. Like, again, in the fucking house, they pop pills again. They do a whole bunch of shit where how is this the soul that you want to send to take your place? Is this not one that's already going?
Yeah.
And on top of that, anyway, so they're in this place. They have this love affair for however long the fuck it is, which doesn't even seem like it's fucking
Love.
yeah. Like there's no real chemistry there. And then she says the dumbest shit ever. She goes up to a bridge. I was like, yo, if I jump, would you jump? And they do the whole I can't live without you. And she goes, if you leave, I'll already be dead and all that stupid shit. And then she was like, I want high school teenagers to hear of our love and leave white lilies when we fucking jump off this bridge. What? Two random fucking people. Two absolutely random fucking people are going to be beloved by teenagers who are going to learn that Romeo and Juliet is the perfect way to end shit. The fuck kind of bullshit is that? So then
I just want that part. I don't even want no context. I just the fuck kind of bullshit is that?
Yo, that's got to be one of your sound effects. So then, he had asked her before, "What's the worst thing you've ever done?" She never says. He never says. It comes up again on the bridge, and she goes, "If I tell you, you'll leave me, so I don't want to tell you." And he's like, "I'm not gonna fucking leave." They come back, they die. They get attacked, they die. They go to the, they're in the water. She gets dragged down. He goes back up, talks to the dude, and he says the line. Except this is the dumb part. But again, I gotta only judge it based on this reimagining. I can't judge it based on the other movies just yet for this whole thing. So something so egregious happens, you get to go back and avenge. So they send him back. He's doing his thing. He can heal. He's beating the shit out of people. He finds the guy who has the video. Like, he's like, "Yo, what the fuck did you want that night at the bar? Before they killed us, you showed up, told her something, and then they came and got us." And he's like, "Oh, I was trying to tell her to escape. They were on to me. I was trying to get her out, but she wouldn't leave you." And he's like, "Well, what the fuck is on this tape? What's with this guy?" And he is expressly told that this dude whispers in your ear and finds the darkest part of you, and he whispers until he forces you to do something you would never do. He whispers until you do something you would never do. Not, "Hey," and you fucking off. Not, "Hey," and he unlocks the Hulk. He's got to fucking pull the thread until you're mad enough that he gets you to do what he wants. It's not an instantaneous thing. So he watches the video. What's on the video? She's playing the piano. He whispers in her ear for a while. Like, it's like a good 30 seconds. Right? She gets up, grabs a fucking dagger of some sort or something, walks over to a random bitch, stabs her. And everybody in the thing's like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" Now, the demon man, Rook, didn't notice this. Because the motherfucker recorded it on the cell phone.
Yeah.
He apparently didn't notice somebody holding this. Because he had no clue the video was out or the video was made until it was leaked. Again, he wasn't looking for her. She was living her life. The other friend who recorded was living his life. The girl who released the tape was living their life. 3 people who were not the bad guy saw a murder. 1 committed the murder. And they all went back to normal.
Yep.
So upon seeing the video, with the knowledge of what he does, he instantly turns around and goes, "Yo, I don't know if I can do this shit no more, man. Yo, she fucked up. She did something horrible. My man, did you not hear that this dude drugged that shit out? Like, this dude is the reason she wouldn't have done that if he didn't use his fucking demonic powers." He instantly was like, "No, I don't know about this bitch." And apparently, love isn't the opposite of, or hate isn't the opposite of love, or the diminisher of love. It's doubt. He casted a little bit of doubt. He got shot and he died again. Because the crow was like, "Yo, you only have power as long as your love is strong.
Sure.
And since you only knew this bitch for 2 months and you doubt because you saw her kill somebody, you fucked up. Now, here's the shit that bugs my mind. Because again, in the context of the movie, they asked him specifically to go stop Rook. Has nobody else tried? Has nobody else died in such a way because of Rook that they get to come back? 1. 2, like Toe said, it wasn't explained what he can do. He said you had the power of a god and you wasted it. Okay. He then turns around and immediately, well, fuck it, my soul for her soul. Dude, 5 minutes ago, you thought this bitch was a murderer and not worth fighting for. Now it's your soul for her soul. Okay. It's an acceptable deal. And then, and only then, does the crow empower him. The crow, like a spectral crow, flashes through his chest, from his back through his chest. You literally see him get ripped and muscular and big. You literally see the body transformation. And he gets one more try to go back. Now, this is what boggles my mind. If he had the powers of a god before, what the fuck is this now? Is the crow force more powerful than God? Because now, only now, does he go back, kill everybody, and then starts touching shit and getting flashes of her and the life they used to have. And then he sits there and he finishes the tattoo that he said in the beginning of the movie, where she said crying. She had one that said "Cry now, laugh later." He said that his motto was "Cry now, cry later." So he tattooed that on himself, but it wasn't finished. So he finished it off and took the tattoo ink and did the makeup. But you, again, why now did you have the extra boost in power if you were the one who was supposed to stop Rook before? And now it has nothing to do with your love.
Yeah.
You made the deal. So you go until you kill Rook and the deal's done. This has nothing to do with love. So then they go on a overly violent fucking, like, the rated R violence, it was just fucking uncalled for. It wasn't done tastefully or tactfully, or it was just for the sake of it. Like he takes a knife, or not a knife, like
the short katana.
yeah, I forget what the Shinto blade.
Yeah.
He takes a Shinto blade, jams it in some dude's mouth, and then cuts the top part of his head off. For what reason? I don't know. Because that dude had nothing to do with anything. He's just there as security. And guess what? A motherfucker comes in with a Shinto blade, slicing up other people. Bullets are not stopping him. Like, he's got to defend him. Like, this is not something that you're like, my man, I'm glad you're here, because these people are fucking like... like, he's protecting not the villain, because the villain's not even there. The opera house of fucking innocent people. And he just sees a maniac show up. So he's overly violent. He kills the other people. He gets to where the bad guy is. And like Toe said, the bad guy fucking whispers in his ear. Doesn't work. They get dragged both into the purgatory, we'll call it. There's some talk and some bullshit. They get dragged into the water. And instead of both of them getting dragged down to hell, only the bad guy gets dragged down to hell. Eric then sees Shelly, and she's like, what the fuck did you do? And he's like, well, you're free. And then we get to the scene where Vin was awake for what, 30 seconds?
Pretty much, yeah.
Where the dude who did a piss poor job of explaining what the fuck's going on to him shows up as an EMT and revives Shelly. At the moment they had died earlier, because Eric's right there next to her. Meaning that none of the shit he did happened. Because even if time's a circle, they went back and prevented him from coming back to life. Meaning he did not get up and kill the Rook and kill all the other people.
Yeah. And her body was moved, so it wasn't like her body was there the whole time.
Yeah. Her body was moved and sent somewhere. They had a fucking funeral. Which we find out that her mom sold her daughter to Rook to become famous, which was fucking hilarious. Her acting was so bad, I laughed. When she was supposed to be at her most grieving moment, I laughed uncontrollably. But she's supposed to be famous.
That was horrible.
Huh?
You're talking about when the mother fucking was grieving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrible.
She's supposed to be famous. At no point do they even hint at. They went and fucking tried to get her from the rehab center. The white lady, her henchman, and her mom. When they first show up on screen, you don't even know who that is. She just looks like another member of the fucking team.
Yeah.
They never really say it's her mom until a certain point. There's nothing about her that reads fame except in her house, she has pictures of herself everywhere. But nothing outside. There's no, in the opera house, there's no picture of her as a famous opera singer or a composer or a fucking piano player or nothing. So you did all that fame for nothing. Shelly gets to live, still acting without remorse for taking a life, even if it wasn't her fault. They make it seem like nothing, like everything was erased, and he walks off in purgatory. Almost like, all right, I'm ready for the next fucking round. But he made the deal. He should have went to hell.
Yeah.
So inside its own fucking reimagining, it doesn't work. It does not work. You took the biggest bitch in the world, gave him godlike powers, didn't tell him,
and then scolded him for when he fucked it up.
Yeah, and then gave him extra powers. Where does extra power come? Yo, this motherfucker, they Dragon Balled it. They Dragon Balled it and was like, yo, Super Saiyan, what the fuck is it? Ultra Ego is the highest you can go. Except for in 2 episodes where you break through that.
Yeah, your ultra autonomous instinct now.
Yeah. Like he wasn't the Crow until the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. It was horrible.
On top of that, the Crow didn't help him with shit.
Yeah.
Didn't tell him where anybody was. Didn't do it. He just showed up places and stumbled across things.
Yo, and the acting on all accords, horrible. Horrible. This man was the clown in it. And he couldn't convince me that he was in love with somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about, he couldn't convince me that he could kill people. No. He couldn't convince me he was in love with someone.
And I forgot. This motherfucker thinking he's invincible and he'll heal. When he's talking to the friend, when he's like, yo, I can't deal with this. This bitch fucked up. People come in with guns. And instead of going, hey, okay, I'm going to go with you. You want me? I'll go with you. And handling him outside, he attacks the motherfucker right there with his friend And his friend gets fucking shot in the face for it. Because he's invincible. But he had no regard for that other man's life.
Nope.
Yo, at the end of this, I've written my own fucking reimagining of The Crow. And I want to present it just to see. Let me see if I can do a better job.
All right.
But that shit, yo, that shit was,
Horrible.
yeah. Like, why? If you're gonna be in love and all that, why the fuck did you not leave? That's why I said it doesn't make sense, the timing, because it was either 2 weeks or longer than 2 months. Because either they weren't looking for you, because they gave you months where you could have just fucking left and been happy on your own. They weren't gonna find you. Or it was 2 weeks. And I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. To fall in love like that in 2 weeks, you're stupid. You're lying to yourself.
Seriously.
I'm not saying that you can't have like and lust and all that, but like actual fucking the love that it's supposed to be.
Pure, because he didn't even know her. She was hiding who she was to him. It's funny how she kept saying, "Would you follow me anywhere? Would you do this? Would you do like? Would you love me if I told you what was really happening to me?" And the dude's like, "Yes, yes, 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 yes." And as soon as he found out what happened, I don't love her.
Fuck this bitch. Yeah, immediately. And I love that. We brought it up twice already. And he's like, I told you as long as you fucking loved her and you fucked it up. You doubted her. Well,
I don't know who she is.
You picked the wrong person to go kill Rook. Out of all the lives he took for all the centuries he's been alive.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't even a fist fight. It wasn't even like he beat the shit out of him and he fucking out jujitsu'd him or outpowered him or anything. So you mean to tell me in all the fucking years he's been alive, all the centuries, not one motherfucking person was worthy enough for the Crow power to take him out and was strong or was strong enough to do it or couldn't whoop his ass or whatever the fuck. It had to be just this one dude.
With pure love.
Baffling.
2-week long pure love that was on a drug bender.
Fucking baffling. All right, but now you wanted to bring it into the other movies and take it out of the realm of just its own standalone thing.
So now, let's talk about. I know I made a little bit of comments, but let's talk about the Brandon Lee version of this. The difference between the two movies and how that movie works compared to this one.
I'll tell you right now, the reason that movie works is because it can convey in 5 minutes the type of relationship and the type of pure love that Eric and Shelley had. And it can convey that what happened to her was a fucking travesty. Not only her death and her torture within the room, but her suffering before she died in the hospital. And it is expressly said that the Crow didn't come back because of love. He was brought back a year later because the soul could not rest.
Yeah.
It could not rest because what happened to him was so unjust. He could not let it go, even in his in his spiritual state in the afterlife.
Yeah.
And when the balance is out that far out of whack, then you get to come back and set the wrong things right. The first one worked because what drove Eric was the fact that he was two things. One, he had to avenge the shit that was unjustly taken from him and the horrible shit that befell him. But two, it worked because he still was human. He still befriended the kid and
Yeah.
was himself around the kid. He
That-
befriended the cop. He had the fucking moment where he took the beer with the cop and was just joking with him.
I
He
had
had
a
the moment with the mother where instead of seeing her as one of the gang, he saw past that and saw that she was in a bad situation. And maybe if we took her out of that situation and gave her a second chance, maybe she could turn shit around. And he took the poison out of her. Because the
Yeah.
Crow is not about vengeance, it's about justice.
Yeah,
He
and
wasn't even going after Top Dollar. He didn't know anything about Top Dollar until they told him.
the crazy shit was, I think the child was the anchor character for this movie because she kept him grounded.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much he wanted to kill the people who did that to his wife, she kept him human.
Yeah. Shelly made sure that's one of the things. It's one of the underlying things that Shelly made sure that there was still a path for him to do what he needed to do, but not go so far that he couldn't come back from it.
Word.
So that they can meet again when he's done.
Because now, one of the things I said to you, how you make this movie better is like, maybe they don't have to be married for that long, but instead for this guy being a demon, it's a bad neighborhood just like in the original, you know, and he's out with his wife. His wife gets kidnapped. He goes to the cops. The cops are corrupt. There's one that wants to help him, but everything's pointing to he did it. He did it. And then he goes, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just find her. No one wants to help me. I'm gonna find her. And he goes and he finds her. She's already dead. She's already tortured. They got him captured now. And they tell him as a punishment for fucking trespassing on their plan, they tell him everything they did to her. And they kill him and they said, now you know. And you get to die with all this pain and suffering in your head also. And boom. And that could have been a reason why the Crow bring him back to life. Because that's something that's like, nah, this woman did nothing to deserve all this shit. He did nothing to deserve all this shit. If he would have just had the cop listen to him, if he would have just had someone that was not corrupt help him, could have been a way to save his wife's life. The Crow goes, we got to make this right. Go kill these people. Go balance out the system.
Yeah.
And I think that could have been a good reiteration of a Crow.
Yeah. To not to get into my version of it, but just to help out this movie. Another thing they could have done to make it better. She tells him what happened. And he still sticks by her. And the only reason he needed a power boost is because this dude has been visited before. And he knows how to stop this thing.
Yeah.
And he used his trick. And in one last ditch effort, I'll make the deal. Give me the second chance.
Yeah.
But now, going back to comparing this to the series, I told my friends that if this movie was better than Crow 4, The Wicked Prayer, that this would be a 10 out of 10. The greatest movie ever made. And I was sitting here like, yo, this movie is better than The Crow 4. I will give it that. Until I read the synopsis of The Crow 4. Because I had forgotten fully what it was about. And The Crow 4, here's the synopsis. On his way to becoming an immortal demon, a gang leader orchestrates the murder of an ex-con and his girlfriend. And in this movie, on his way to becoming an immortal demon, a gang leader orchestrates the murder of a recovering drug addict and his girlfriend. It's the same fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's the same movie.
With the same level of acting too.
Yeah. But again, its own fucking containment, it does not work.
Yeah.
I want to get into my story here just to see if this makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just came up with random names because the character names kind of don't matter. Because I'm not doing Eric Draven and Shelley. I'm not doing a remake with the same character. I'm doing my own reimagining.
Yeah.
Right? The way
Another
it
story.
fucking should have done. So in my story, the guy's name is Trav Martel. And the girl's name is Jennifer. Right?
Write that down, show.
So the movie opens up 10 years prior to the event, where we start off with a guy who's drunk behind the wheel, swerving all over the place. He's driving erratically. He forces another car to veer off the road. That car hits a kid and kills the kid. We find out that Trav Martel is the guy in the other car, not the drunk driver. He's the guy who hit the kid. Right? He's, what do you call it? He starts dealing with his grief, with his remorse. He starts going down a dark path. We see that he's found innocent in the court of law because they found the drunk driver. They found out what happened.
Yeah.
But he still can't handle the fact that he's responsible for the death of a child. So he meets Jennifer. And you see that within the 10 years that she essentially saves his life. She brings him back out of the darkness, back to the light. She's the goodness he needed. She even gets the family to forgive him for what happened. And we see that he's turned his life around and he is doing great. They're married now. They have a young kid. And one night in present day, they went out to get some snacks and a gang pulled up and killed them. Shot him first, and the last thing he saw was his wife and his kid getting stabbed to death. So a year passes. A year passes, but we find out that Trav wakes up at a train station. And he's sitting there with no trains coming, wondering what the fuck's going on. This dude shows up, and Trav's like, yo, I feel like I've been waiting for this train for a while. What's going on? Like, he doesn't know. He doesn't even remember why he's there.
Yeah.
And this dude tells him, yo, you can't get on the train. You're not ready yet. Trav's like, what the fuck do you mean? The dude puts his hand on Trav's shoulder, and Trav's flooded back with memories of seeing his wife die, seeing his kid die, seeing the faces of the people who did it. And he's explained that crows usher the souls of the living into the next world. But sometimes something so horrible happens that a soul cannot rest until the wrong is put right. And he is sent back. And when he's sent back, he goes immediately to where his family died, touches the ground, has more flashbacks, sees how much pain they were in, see how long they suffered, and he immediately runs to his house. We find out that by some stroke miracle, his friend actually bought the house. So everything in there is untouched because his friend just could not bring himself to have somebody else move into that house and somebody else wipe out the memory of him and his wife and his kid.
Yeah.
So when he walks around the house, like, he sees the friend, and the friend's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's telling him, yo, I have to go and set this right. He's going around the house, and you see the memories of him and his son painting, and him and his wife playing in the kitchen, and him just the happiest memories ever. When he's in the sunroom, he touches the paint, and he takes it with him, but the paint shows him and his son painting for the first time together. He walks into his bedroom, and he touches something of his wife, and he has a flashback of the one time his wife did a recital for her dance company, and she wore this weird, like, clownish type theatrical makeup as a part of the performance. And the crow skulks at him as they go, it's time to go. And in order to carry his wife and his son with him, he puts the white face paint from his son. He takes his wife's makeup and he does his crow look the same way you see the wife did for her performance. So he's got his son's paint and his wife's makeup to carry that with him. The crow then shows him the first person that he's got to take out. And when he takes him out, it's a little bit violent. Like, there's a little bit of aggression as he's trying to figure out exactly what he can and can't do. He kills that dude. We go to the second dude. The second dude, he gets more violent. Now that he knows what he can do, he gets almost to the point where you can see the bird. You can see the bird is almost like, oh, maybe this was a mistake.
Yeah, we gave the wrong nigga this shit.
Yeah. So the bird, still keeping on his task, takes him to the third guy. When he gets to the third guy, he winds up in the church. And we find out that in that year, not only did the gang have the wrong people, those and him and his family were not the ones who they were sent after. They killed the wrong people. But this dude has remorse, has tried to repent, has got out of the gang, and has been dedicating his life to the church and to outreach and trying to pull people out of that life. So because of that, and because of a flash he gets of his wife, he realizes that in this moment, again, it's not about vengeance. It's about justice. And in a leap of faith, he grants this guy mercy. He lets this guy live. But with the caveat that if he strays,
I'll be back.
He's going to get what he deserves if he strays from this new path. So this guy tells him, yo, we were under the direction of this guy, of this main guy. He looks at the crow skulks. This is the one last one. We got to get him. And this is where I do something fun with the movie. He goes to that guy. That guy is dying of cancer. He's in a hospital bed. He's got tubes up his nose and all that shit. And the crow confronts him. It was like, yo, you took the life of my wife and kid. You probably took many other lives and ruined other people. This is what you get. That dude, the bad guy, is not remorseful one bit. He does not give a shit. So Travis looks at the crow with a smile and goes, I got to do it this way. And you see the crow nod. He walks over to the guy, puts his hand on him, and heals him. He takes away his cancer, but not only takes away his cancer, he essentially puts him back to prime health.
I want you better than good.
Huh?
Then we say, I want you better than good when I kill you.
Perfect.
Well, puts him back to prime health. And this dude is like, yo, you have found it in your heart to show me mercy. That was the wrong move. And he hits him and he's beating on him, and he's just laughing. And he's like, yo, what are you laughing at? He's like, oh, I didn't show you mercy. I just made sure this will hurt 10 times worse. And he does the whole fucking penance there, where he not only transfers all the pain of his wife and his child, but all the lives he's taken.
Mm.
And in a pain much worse than dying slowly through his cancer, takes him out. And then we see that not only does he go, but Travis also falls down unconscious. And when Travis wakes up, he's back at the train station. This time a train pulls up. He gets on board. It pulls off. And the last thing we see is Trav looking out the window at the next train stop. And there's a shadow and there's a silhouette figure of a female and a young child. And we fade to black.
And that would have been a lot fucking better than what we got. You're muted, show.
It seems like anything would have been better than what y'all got.
Yo, word. But that would have been a lot better because the Crow is justice.
Yeah.
And before we go, like, give him the reason why the person who wrote the Crow wrote the Crow.
So James O'Barr wrote the Crow because his fiance was killed by a drunk driver.
Nice.
And he was having a hard time dealing with it, and he used this character as his grieving method to get over the death and to have some sort of catharsis while dealing with this. That's why the love story is a driving factor. That's why taking the goodness away from him is a driving factor. And again, I know writing movies for Hollywood must be difficult and all this shit. And I don't know how long they took to write The Crow and remakes. It's been in development hell for fucking 15 years.
Well, if the Crow one came out in when?
1994. But the last one was like in 2000 something.
So the first Crow movie came out 20 years ago. I don't think that's long enough to write a movie that's similar to that.
But my point is,
no, but
it took them all this time, and that's what they came up with.
Yeah.
I just told you my movie. That took me all of fucking 5 minutes.
You want to hear something crazy, show?
Mm-hmm.
The closest thing we got to a Crow movie is John Wick.
Yeah.
Because John Wick is similar. He lived a life where he finally found someone that was worth giving up that life for. He lost her. He tried to keep it together. Her dying effort to make sure that he can, stay whole. He gets a puppy. And the one thing that reminded him of her was taken away violently. And now he has to go kill everybody that did this shit.
Yo, if you can find it.
But you see, that's the thing, show. It's like when you hear the deepness of it, it's like everyone went through grief one way or another. And to see how he handled it and the story that he's representing, when you start watching this movie and this has nothing to do with that, it doesn't even resemble that. Like they try to throw that in there and they fail miserably. It's just a slap in the face.
Yeah.
They didn't even hire actors, show. The people in this movie couldn't act.
Yo, and again, dude, if that's your own reimagining, your world does not work. If you want to watch a good remake of The Crow and a good continuation, somehow find this. It's The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, with the dude from Only the Strong. It was a short-lived TV show. It's hard to find. You have to find like a DVD or something. Short-lived TV show that not only the first couple episodes was essentially a retelling of the movie, but the episodes that came out were pretty good. The critics it was a critical success. It's just Sci-Fi, or I think it was on Sci-Fi, didn't put it in a good spot. They kept changing the time it was on, and it lost viewership because nobody could find when it was on, where it was on, when it was playing.
Yeah.
But we got to do our customary rankings. I say this is a 4 out of 10.
I got a question before Toe's ranking. Is
So
this movie? Because I'm getting something from Toe. Is this movie bad because they're disrespecting the original story that you guys know, or it's just bad? Period. Because would it be bad to me that doesn't know the story?
it's just fucking bad. Joe.
Okay, just
Yeah,
making
this
sure you wasn't just disrespecting.
No,
because you
like
the story.
if you watch the beginning of this, I talked about the movie and just the movie. It's bad, and go ahead, Kevin.
now I was gonna say one of the people I work with came in and he's not a comic book reader. He's not a comic book fan. He was like, "Yo, I think this movie looks dope." He came in, he saw it on a Thursday, came in on that Friday and was like, "Yo, did you see the movie?" I was like, "Nah." He's like, "Don't bother." He's like, "I can't think of one thing I like about this movie." He said it's the worst movie he's seen in 2024. And he's not a comic book reader. He didn't know the story and all that. He just seen the original one like once or twice.
Blair Witch or this?
What?
I didn't see Blair Witch, but I would say Blair Witch because the show. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I give this movie a 0.
Perfect lead to your score. Let's hear it.
I give this movie a 0. A 0 out of 10. There's nothing about this movie that made me go, "Oh, that's dope." Even the way he killed people with the fucking sword. I give a fuck. I was literally on some, well, let's wrap this shit up. Let's wrap this shit up. This guy can't be this rich to have that many fucking henchmen. Let's wrap this shit up. Let's get to the point where he kills them and let's go.
Yo,
I got shit to do.
can we talk about in the original Crow, Brandon Lee specifically kills each of the guys in a very specific way. And it's not expressed that he's a fighter. Like Eric Draven is not expressed to be a martial arts master and a fighter.
Yeah.
He's just some dude. And to the credit of the movie, they didn't lean into Brandon Lee's martial arts. He just overpowered them and just fucking killed them. In this movie, the first guy he kills is by accident. The dude puts the chair back and he accidentally fires the gun and shoots him.
Oops.
Because I think he was actually trying to get him to take me to somewhere else. And on accident, he fucking kills the guy.
My bad. Damn. Not even the killing were cool. That's crazy.
I told you, it was overly violent for no reason. He took his aggression out on a guy that, for all intents and purposes, was just doing his job. Because again, it's unclear if this is security for the building or security for the henchwoman who already had her own security guy. Because the villain was not there. So why would you send all that? They thought he was dead. They literally thought he was dead. There's no reason for this guy to have all that security to protect them from him. They thought he was dead. And he massively just murdered essentially innocent, for all we know, innocent people who were trying to protect, again, not only maybe the bad guys, but definitely the other fucking civilians and the performers who were just sitting in there trying to watch the show. And he walked out on stage. He walked out on stage in front of innocent people with the heads of 2 people. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What did that accomplish other than making you the bad guy?
Now I'm crazy.
Yeah, you come out here with weird fucking paint and tattoos everywhere and 2 severed heads.
Now I'm crazy.
And you want me to believe that you're going after the dude who paid money for this shit?
Yep.
He's the bad guy? And
That,
it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary for him to make that stop. He could have just decapitated the other people and left.
yeah.
Damn. Unnecessary murder. I've never heard of it.
Bro, they couldn't convince me that the two people liked each other, let alone loved each other.
The couple in the movie.
Yeah.
That's how bad the acting was.
Yo, show, I'm telling you, show. I don't know how much of it you saw, but I'll reiterate this part because this part bugs the shit out of me. He specifically told that the villain whispers in your ear until he can get you to the point that you do something you wouldn't normally do. And when he saw the video of him whispering in his girl's ear, which was for like 30 seconds, like he was whispering for a little bit, then she picks up the knife and stabs the other girl. He instantly turns on and is like, yo, this bitch fucked up. I don't know if I can do this. She fucked up what? You were told how he works. You saw him do his thing. You know that that's not her. She wouldn't normally do this. And he found the fucking words to make her do this.
Yes.
What are you doubting? How are you sitting there going, yo, I don't know if I can do this shit?
She
What?
sure her guy manipulated. No matter what.
For somebody he said earlier he would jump off a fucking bridge with. Instantly, I don't know if I can deal with this bitch.
That is meant. One thing, I don't like this bitch no more. I'm gonna get me a new one.
Oh, and we didn't even bring up this part before we go. He had flashbacks on his life and some other shit. And in one part of it, he's watching the trailer that had, I guess, his mom or whoever his caretaker was inside burned down. And it's not expressed as if she burned down the place and he was watching it, or he burned down the place and he was watching it. It's not even, we don't even know if she was inside.
Word.
Just his house was burning down and he was standing there. No fucking context whatsoever. We know more about the Shelley than we do about Eric.
Yeah.
All we know is that he had a horse who died, a mom who didn't give a shit. He turned to drugs. People beat his ass every day of his life. And that's it.
Yeah.
On that note. Oh, for anybody who's playing the home game, I picked this name, Corvus, because this is Latin for the crow.
There you go.
Nice.
And for all the people playing at home, on that note, this is our review of The Crow.
Garbage. Basura.
Trash. And we are your friendly neighborhood knuckleheads signing out.
Say goodnight, Joe.
Fuck that. I'm not done. She-Hulk or this movie? No, good night. Good night.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Peace, everybody.